Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Boxing Science TV. We'll be talking to featherweight prospect Jordan Gill on his sensational return to the ring at Doncaster Dome on Saturday. And we'll be going through the science behind the big fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Golovkin. I will be breaking down their training methods, why Golovkin hits so hard, and give a breakdown on how we think the fight will go. And our exercise of the week is a great circuit that you can integrate into your boxing sessions. It's great times at Boxing Science with one of our main boxers, Jordan Gill, returning to the ring and having a great performance as well. And we're going to be talking to him in a little bit. Anthony Fowler is training really hard at the minute. We did a great session with him the other day, 20-second maximal sprints, and his data is showing massive improvements. 13% increase in his mean speed and a 10% increase in his maximum running speed as well. And this is just in the space of 3 months. We don't see particularly this magnitude of improvement. The program's been pretty good. Fowler's come in great shape already, and he's been consistent with his training as well. By using the data from last time, I was giving him some targets sitting around about 1 kilometre, 1.5 kilometres an hour, just behind where he went, so he went beyond my expectations. But what I said to him was, aim for this number, and he just said, basically just go for it. He would gain maximal effort, and that's what we need for him to get the most out of our sessions. Now, the session that we was doing with Anthony was a 20-second maximal sprint. Now, we're quite famous for our 30-second maximal sprints, and we've been asked a few questions on why we use 20 seconds as opposed to 30 seconds. And the reason why is because we're targeting different adaptations. On them 20 seconds, we're aiming to simulate the maximum glycolytic activity as possible. Whereas on the 30 seconds, we're aiming to try and stimulate the oxidative pathways. After that 20 seconds and in that 10-second block, the glycogen is totally depleted, so that stimulates the oxidative pathway. Whereas if we do the 20 seconds and stop there, we're purely looking at glycolytic activity. And this is why we use 20 seconds as opposed to the 30 seconds in certain blocks. Now, we had a really busy session at Sheffield City ABC this week. There were over 30 or 40 people there. So mixed abilities, some starting, some intermediate, some competitive boxers as well. And it's quite a small gym, so we're trying to do our best to try and get the best workouts for everyone, especially for those competitive boxers. So I chatted to Brendan and said, right, shall we take competitive boxers out and do some fitness with them? And basically we did 20-second maximal sprints in the car park, 20 seconds on, 20 off, 20 on again, and then we had 2 or 3 minutes off. And then we did some core stuff as well. This is integrating the boxing science methods into a boxing environment, and this is a really big thing to do because not everyone has the facilities that we're fortunate to have at Sheffield University, or these big posh gyms, or the EIS at GB Boxing as well. Not all boxers have access to this, or have the time to go and do an extra session, and it's really important for you to try and think about that when working with your athletes. If I've been in any interview before, I've talked about being an adaptive coach. I'm able to get a good session out of an athlete at any time, any environment. I work with England Golf. A lot of the sessions that I do is at the golf club, and there isn't gym facilities there, and I've got to do a session for 10 golfers in a function room in a golf club. And you've just got to try and think about the different exercises that can be done anywhere, at any time. And this is a big consideration for us in the youth training handbook. We know that a lot of youth athletes aren't able to commit to enough time to do the strength and conditioning, to do the running in the morning. most of their training sessions are going to be in the gym. So a lot of our youth training program that we're developing at the minute is to integrate our training methods into the boxing gym and around their boxing sessions. So their boxing and their skill development and their physical development can go hand in hand, and it makes it really easy for the boxing coach to be able to deliver that as well. And a little bit later on in this episode, I'll be sharing a circuit that you can do in your boxing gym. Now we're going to go on to our special feature of the week, and that is, of course, going to be about the return of the Thrill, Jordan Gill. I was so proud on Saturday night when Jordan had a return like that, a second round TKO win. It was against a kid that was supposed to be tough and durable, only being stopped by people that are heavier than Jordan, lightweight as well. So Jordan's 2 weights below that. He was boxing at Super Feather on Saturday night, and he was able to put on a clinical display. Looks to be much stronger, much faster, sharper. 18 months out, he's been productive in his sparring, and his technical work, and his strength and conditioning as well, and the results showed on Saturday night. So we managed to have a quick chat in the changing rooms after to evaluate his performance and his progress, and take a look at the highlights of his return to the ring.
Professional record, 16 wins from 16 contests, 3 wins coming by win and knockout. From Japanese television. For your winner, extending his perfect professional record, Jordan!
With Jordan Thrill Gill, just after your return to the ring, second round TKO, how does it feel?
Sensational, second round TKO. Feels good to be back where I belong, in the ring, feeling comfortable and feeling good.
Great stuff. So 18 months out of the ring, how did it feel lacing up the gloves, putting it on the shorts?
It was strange, because obviously I've had a few cancellations, and when I was putting the gloves on, right, it hit me and I was like, oh, this is it now, this is real, it's actually happening. And until that point, it didn't really feel real. Obviously you prepare to the best of your ability, but until you're standing in there in front of the opponent and everyone else gets out and it's just you and him and the ref, and it's not real, is it? And then when he chucks a couple of punches out, you think, oh, here we are, back again. So I mean,
yeah, and he certainly threw a few punches because it was a good kid on record.
yeah, it was a good opponent, probably my toughest test to date, and probably my best performance today. Felt good, I refueled well, well hydrated, well trained, went in with a cool head, and took him out of start.
Great stuff. So you hit him with your 8-ounce gloves on,
yeah.
And he went down twice in the first.
Yeah.
And then once in the second round to finish it off. Do you feel like you're punching harder?
Yeah, I feel like I'm punching harder and trying, and without even trying. The shots that I dropped him with didn't feel like I was loading up. In fact, the shots that I did load up with had little effect. So yeah. When I'm relaxed, I'm better. When I put my shots together, I'm better. And you saw that tonight.
And the title of the show is New Beginnings for you, yeah. Under new coach with Dave Caldwell. How's it going at the Caldwell Boxing Gym?
It's going really well, I'm enjoying it, it's a good vibe, it's completely different to what I've been doing before. It's very, very tough, he's very strict, he's on you all the time. I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to perfect every technique, I'm trying to do what he tells me to, and I don't get it right all the time, but I'm trying my best. And tonight, I've obviously showed what I can do after just 3 weeks. You know, over the next 3 months and then maybe 3 years, you'll be able to see what I can actually do. And obviously with the work that I've been doing with boxing science, it's going to develop me even more into even more of an animal. And I just can't wait to actually be in them big fights with like thousands of screaming fans and winning titles.
Yeah, so there's big plans ahead. What are the next steps for Jordan Gill?
Next steps are moving forward 5 weeks, so we'll work towards that date, try and get the best opponent we possibly can over the most amount of rounds we possibly can. Hopefully it'll be an 8 or 10 rounder, see what happens, and you know, I'm sure everyone will come out and support me.
Yeah, so you're back in the gym Wednesday? What are you doing in your...
I told Dave that I've got to get the car guaranteed on Monday. And I was like, I'm sorry, I might be able to make it back in for Monday evening because I've got my car MOT on Monday. And he said, just have 2 days off, so come back in Wednesday. I was like, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I want to get back in, See, I didn't get a workout tonight, did more work on the pads.
Yeah.
So back in Wednesday, 5 weeks of hard work and back out again and throwing more bombs.
Great stuff, Jordan. Great to see you back.
Thanks for all your support. Thanks to C&G coaches for supplying the coach to come up to Doncaster. Thanks for Boxing Science for turning me into a beast. Thanks to Dave Colwell for putting all the work into me over the last couple of weeks. Thanks to all the fans that come up every time. Thanks to George Munn, great sponsorship. Thanks to Chatwich Town Butchers that supplied me with all my fantastic food to make me so strong. Thanks to Zoo Storm that helped me with sponsorship. Thanks to my favourite people in Wales, Hayley and Matthew, that's supplied me great sponsorship. And thanks to Jordan Fitness as well, functional fitness masterminds, and they've given me the best equipment possible.
Great, so if we just miss off one person there, Tommy Monday.
And Tommy Monday, whose 95 kilo clean was impeccable. And also a special mention to Dave Stash at Nourish Restaurants, who helped me out with my diet and made sure that I was fueled up and ready tonight, ready to smash skulls.
Good stuff, mate.
Our topic of the week is none other than the biggest fight in world boxing, Canelo versus Golovkin. It's a fight that I'm talking about a lot and a lot of other people should be talking about, especially after the Mayweather-McGregor fight. This is the real fight that boxing fans are really excited for, and it's something that, you know, has been in the pipeline for quite a while. Canelo seems to have been putting it off for different reasons, maybe to build up some more revenue. Another thing is that Golovkin's getting older, 35, looked a little bit slower in his last fight against Daniel Jacobs. Canelo is going into his prime of his career, 27 years old. He's already had 51 fights, 49, 1-1. Yeah, so 51 fights. He's got the youth, freshness, and he's got the experience to go with it as well. And I think that it's going to be a really, really close fight. Everyone keeps swaying side to side, whether it's Canelo or Golovkin. And I think it's really good to talk about this and the science behind Canelo versus Golovkin. And first of all, we're going to visit the individuals. So I'm going to start off with Golovkin. And why does he punch so hard? A lot of it obviously comes down to technique. He is going to have some sort of genetics. You know, we could do all the same training as Golovkin and won't be able to hit as hard as him. But what are the physical contributors for him hitting so hard? Well, on the Science Behind the Punch article, that's just in the link below, we explain the impulse-momentum relationship. Impulse is force times time, so creating a lot of force in a short amount of time. And momentum, moving mass over a short period of time. So one's speed and one's body mass. And the main contributor to this is impulse. So we at Boxing Science try and improve the amount of force that's produced in the shortest amount of time. Whereas Golovkin, he doesn't really punch at speed. He more like is more of a thud. Like if you ever see him on the pads, they're like big single shots and it's a big massive thud at the end. And what's happening here is creating a lot of momentum. And this is improved by improving effective mass. So the amount of stiffening up at the end range of a punch. And a big contributor to this is core, shoulder, arm strength. When he's producing them big punches, he's snapping at the end of the punch and he's being able to brace his core, brace his shoulders. This is why he punches so hard. If you look at Golovkin, he's got a really thick set core, and he is a perfect example of what a boxing core should look like. Obviously it's a little bit fleshy, it's not the most ripped, but you can see that bulk in his core. This is down to like his intensive core training that he does under Abel Sanchez. Not strictly scientific and not something that I'd incorporate with the boxers, because obviously we're trying to improve speed as much as we can, but trying to improve core strength at the same time and that core muscle mass. And he spends a lot of time building up his core, and you can see like the thickness in it. So that's why he punches so hard and being able to produce a lot of effective mass. The other reason why Golovkin hits so hard is because of his world-class footwork. He's able to use his footwork to walk his opponents down and fire every shot in range. You don't see Golovkin like trying to punch at range, trying to put out a long jab. His jab's really good, but he uses it to work within range. Now, these punches are going to be more effective because of something called the length-tension relationship. And we explain this a little bit more in our article, The Science Behind Golovkin. This is in the link below. But length-tension relationship is basically talking about the length of the muscle, the optimal length of muscle where the most tension can be produced. So when it's totally flexed or extended, a muscle has an optimal point where it can produce the most force. Now, Golovkin gets into range where he can throw bent arm shots and is firing every shot within that range where it's optimal muscle tension. Whereas like a lot of boxers, if they're fighting at range, if you see like long rangey guys that are throwing jabs and straight hands, keeping their opponents off, they're punching at the end of the punch where there's not as much force. So how do you improve this? Well, we use something called accommodating resistance that helps improve the strength of a long range punch. So using like bands or chains to help improve the amount of force at the end ranges of each exercise. So here's how we use it across the strength speed continuum. So Canelo is quite interesting as well in how he trains. Again, not strictly scientific, but he does some good stuff. It's some low intensity plyometrics, which are good because this helps him stay injury free. And I can imagine being a professional boxer from age 14 through to 27 years old, 51 fights, like I say, he's gonna have some niggles here and there. So the low intensity plyometrics that he does is quite good. Not so great for force development, but the main reason why I do plyometrics anyway is for injury prevention. So him doing low intensity plyometrics is good. It's going to stay injury free, so he can get the most out of his training. Also looking at the different training methods that he's doing, he's working a lot on rotational exercises, rotational med ball work, med ball throws, sit-ups and everything like that. And I feel that this is trying to improve his main punch, which is the hook, devastating hooks, both to the head and the body. So it's working a lot on rotation, and I think this could be, especially his hooks to the body, can be a real determining factor in this fight. Now, we shared a video a few years ago of different exercises that we'd use to try and improve a hook. Now, in terms of their training for this fight, they haven't shown too much for me to discuss. The only thing is that on the HBO 24/7, Golovkin is working on his footwork quite a lot, even though it's world class, but he's looking at speeding up that footwork as well, doing some ladder drills and everything like that to try and move his feet a little bit faster. Canelo, on the other hand, is using foam sticks, and a lot of traditional boxing coaches might think, well, it's not as good as the pads, but foam sticks provide a good stimulus for some overspeed work. So Canelo's backing up against the ropes and then moving quite fast. You know, the boxing coach is never going to be able to replicate a punch like Golovkin, or punch as fast or as hard as Golovkin for Canelo to duck and move out of the way. But the foam sticks provide a good stimulus to try and move around it and move fast. And it seems like Canelo is really working on that speed, is on trunk, head movement, and moving his feet as well to get out of the way, especially backing up against the ropes, because Golovkin's going to be naturally the bigger guy in there on September 16th, and be looking to enforce and walk down Canelo. He's not going to be able to do this as much as what he'd normally do, but there's going to be times where Canelo's going to be backed up against the ropes, and he's got to work his head movement, his trunk movement, and then try and pivot off, and this is what he's doing with the foam sticks. So how do I see the fight going? It's, like I said before, it's a really close fight. If there's ever a 50-50 fight, this is it. Canelo versus Golovkin, really, really good. I'm swaying towards Canelo just because of his youth, his freshness. Golovkin didn't look particularly great last time out. Obviously had a good fight with Kell Brook as well. Took some big shots in that. I think Canelo will have the strength and the skill set to be able to wear Golovkin down. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I think he'll win on points. And I think the key for Canelo is that his body shots are devastating, and nobody's really tested Golovkin to the body as much, because he get in there, he's a big hitter. A lot of people go head hunting. You've got to have that confidence to go down to the body. And I think that Canelo has the skills and the confidence to be able to work to that body effectively and stay out of the way of Golovkin's big punches. So what I think is that Canelo will win, and he'll win on points. So that's it for episode 6. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you're wanting to ask me any questions, just comment below or contact us through our social media channels. And if you enjoy Boxing Science TV and you think that it's good for the boxing community, please share it, because we're trying to make the best sport in the world even better. Cheers guys, see you soon.